Do you have clear conscious thought or zombie-like thought? Clear conscious thought versus zombie-like thought. What are we doing? What is this clear conscious thought? It's the freedom to be free from guilt, envy, hatred, bitterness, and having a clear conscious view, self-produced based off your own perspective on life, your own experiences, versus zombie-like thought, which is contagious, which is produced by the contamination of others. Like, I'm not going to allow other people's view on life, the way they're seeing things, the lens that they're seeing things to influence my perspective. You're either going to be influenced or you're going to influence others. And unfortunately, a lot of us are being influenced by this zombie-like thought. We all have this freedom. I call it freedom to be freedom. D-U-M-B. I touched on this in one of my other videos. And like I said, there's a lot of people that's operating in this freedom, D-U-M-B, versus the freedom to form their own perspective on life, the freedom to form their own view based off their own experiences. A lot of people ain't even experienced this so-called racism that we're talking about, but they've decided that they're going to jump on this bandwagon and be influenced with zombie-like thought. So how's this dumb? So let's touch on a few points of clarity. The first one that I want to touch on is this elephant in the room. There's this notion that there are mostly peaceful protesters. Yeah, right. If you want to call these guys peaceful. But that's not even what I really want to touch on. I want to pull back the layers of these so-called peaceful protesters and let's look at and see exactly what they're doing. Because honestly, I do believe that there are peaceful protesters and they are present. But that's one of the problems. What are we doing, folks? Some say that this movement is against your very existence, white people. Look at these freedoms, D-U-M-B-S. Look at them.
I don't care if somebody decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's or a Nike, because that makes sure that that person eats. That makes sure that that person has clothes. That makes sure that that person can make some kind of money because this city obviously doesn't care about them.
Like, they're standing around taking pictures, actively advocating and participating in something that's undermining their very existence. How are we? How are we even? I don't even understand the lens that you're seeing this through. Again, unless you've been bitten by the zombie, unless you have zombie-like thought, you have no clear conscious thought. You're supporting something, again, that's undermining your very existence. Because at the core of this movement is hatred. And guess what the hatred is towards? It's towards you. We see it, and I've seen it. We've seen it in countless statements and acts of violence against you and at these events, and you still keep showing up. I guess out of some virtuous responsibility. Mind you, before George Floyd, I didn't see anybody advocating this. Maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know. But again, I've seen countless videos where you guys, even blacks, peaceful black protesters, are in these heated moments, allowing yourself to be either a punching bag or physically and verbally punched. Just doesn't make any sense, folks. Black people, because it's supposed to be our movement for equality and against racism. Although blacks can be racist too, but that's a whole nother video. But you're allowing these angry people to hijack your moment with hate speech. I mean, look at them standing around, video, looking and clapping. And you're cheering for your own demise. freedom, D-U-M-B. But I want to be free from that. Free from being dumb. Not only is this dumb from the standpoint of standing against racism and inequality and all this stuff that we say we're standing against. But if you're being the very thing that you're saying you against, it's counterproductive. It's a moot point. It's a vicious cycle. When you have hate and envy and bitterness in your heart, that's what you're going to produce. So how are you advocating against something that you're producing? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, and you don't believe me, right? Look at this next clip as an example of what I'm talking about. And I'm going to have to mute it because of the profanity that's in it. But just check it out. I'm just going to play a snippet of it, and then we're going to touch on it. Look how animated he is. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a politician by the name of John Thompson in Minnesota. I don't even know what's going on in Minnesota, to be honest with you. In Portland, is it something in the water? Somebody tell me. Comment below and let me know what's in the water in Minnesota and Portland. In a lot of these Democratic ran cities, by the way. Energy of hate, bitterness, strife. Something that's any reasonable person would recognize and say, that's evil. I don't know. But he's protesting, right? In front of a house. And this house happens to belong to the chairman of the police union. Why? Why? Seriously. These are some of the same intimidating, strong-arm, demonic tactics that the infamous Ku Klux Klan was a part of. That they exercised on some of our civil rights leaders of old. But yet it's okay now because we're on the other side of the fence, so to speak. And again, peaceful protesters, virtuous white people standing around, supporting, co-signing, zombie-like thought. Imagine if this was reversed. Imagine if that was a black woman's home or a black man's home. And the Klan or a group of white men showed up with bullhorns and started doing all these same things. It'd be a whole different conversation. It'd be labeled racism. It'll be denounced. It'll be every news media outlet will be speaking against this. Oh yeah, that's right. It happened and we deemed it to be racist. Folks, if we're really serious about equality, freedom, and anti-racism, we're going to have to get serious about recognizing when we see it, regardless of what it's wrapped in. We're going to have to be serious about anti-freedom, and what it really looks like. I should have the ability to have a difference of opinion. I should have the freedom to disagree with you without being labeled a racist. And this is a black man talking. We got to call a spade a spade. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and sounds like a duck, then it must be a duck, no matter what the skin color is, no matter what it's wrapped in. I'm convinced that we're living in the night of the living dead. Those of us that are familiar with that show, it's a bunch of zombies running around infecting people. That's what's happening. Zombie-like thought. The zombie-like thought of others, the bitterness, the anger, and the envy has infiltrated the hearts and minds of otherwise reasonable people. It's not reasonable to operate in hate, no matter what the cause is. That's pure hate. Dr. Martin Luther King made a wise point of clarity. And I quote, he says that the universe is so structured that things go awry if men are not diligent. They're not diligent in their cultivation of others. He says, I cannot reach my full fulfillment without Tao. The self cannot be self without other selves. The world was created this way, folks. We were designed this way. The kingdom of God was designed this way. And whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to or not, you're a part of both of these kingdoms. The kingdom on earth and the kingdom of God. And there are certain requirements in these kingdoms. Or you're going to self-destruct. Clear conscious thought over zombie-like thought all day. All day. Listen, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. You guys take care.